What if I told you that right now, in the depths of an untouched jungle, there is a spot so dark and so pristine that the very air turns into a living, breathing constellation? But here is the terrifying truth that the tourism boards won't put in their brochures. These magical lights are flickering their last. Recent headlines are screaming that we might be the final generation to witness this natural wonder. Scientists are in a race against time, not just to study these creatures, but to save them from a silent extinction driven by the very lights we use to see at night. Before we dive into the science and the magic, I need you to do something for me. Look at your screen right now. If you believe that nature is worth fighting for, smash that like button. Don't just like it, hold it down. And then type the word darkness in the comments below. Let's build a community that cares about preserving the night, because if we don't act, the only place you'll see fireflies tomorrow is in this video. Stay tuned, because what I'm about to tell you about the rainforest after dark will change the way you look at bugs forever. Now, close your eyes for a second and imagine the Amazon basin or the tropical reserves of southwest China. During the day, it is a chaotic symphony of howler monkeys, screeching birds, and relentless humidity. But as the sun dips below the horizon, a profound and sacred silence falls. It is in this darkness, specifically in places like China's Sichuanbana tropical rainforest, the country's only tropical rainforest reserve, that the real show begins. When the summer rains arrive, they trigger one of the most breathtaking phenomena on Earth. This isn't just a forest, it becomes a cathedral of light. We aren't just talking about a few bugs here and there. We are talking about swarms, thousands upon thousands of bioluminescent beetles, commonly known as fireflies, emerge from the leaf litter where they've spent the last year growing. But here is the mind-blowing part that most people get wrong, and all of these lights are fireflies. In fact, some of the brightest headlights you see cruising through the dark understory aren't fireflies at all. They are a completely different type of beetle known as the headlight beetle or fire beetle from the genus Pyrophores. Imagine walking along a trail in Belize looking for jaguars, and suddenly you see a pair of tiny, glowing green headlights coming straight towards you on the forest floor. That isn't a cat, that is a click beetle with bioluminescent organs on its thorax that are considered the most brilliant in the entire insect world. These beetles are so bright that historical accounts from indigenous people in the tropics describe tying them to their toes to light the path during nocturnal journeys, or putting a dozen of them in a perforated gourd to use as a reading lamp. The rainforest floor, usually a place of fear and decay, transforms into a runway of light. The air itself shimmers as these creatures take flight, their abdominal lights flashing as they open their wing cases. This is not just a random light show. It is a highly organized life-or-death communication network that has been perfected over millions of years. The stage is set, the actors are ready, and the script they are following is written in the language of chemistry. But to understand why they are so bright, we have to look at what is happening inside their bodies, a process so efficient that it makes our best LED technology look like a candle in a power plant. The specific microhabitats matter too. You won't find these displays just anywhere. They require pristine conditions, rotting logs blanketed with fungi, damp leaf litter, and swampy basins that hold the humidity. These are the nurseries and the dance floors, the floodplain forests and igapo habitats that experience seasonal flooding create the perfect breeding grounds. This is where life and death play out in a flash of light, and where the darkness is not empty, but full of potential. So how does a tiny beetle, smaller than your thumbnail, produce a light bright enough to read by? The answer lies in a miraculous chemical reaction that takes place inside specialized cells called phorocytes, located in their lanterns on the abdomen. Think of it as a perfectly engineered internal glow stick. The magic involves three key ingredients: luciferin, luciferase, and oxygen. Luciferin is the light-emitting compound, substrate that stores the energy. Luciferase is the enzyme, the trigger that starts the reaction. When these two mix in the presence of oxygen and a little bit of cellular fuel called ATP, they create a new compound that is unstable. As this compound breaks down, it releases energy in the form of light. This process is called bioluminescence. But here is the statistic that will blow your mind. This reaction is nearly 100% efficient. Think about an incandescent light bulb in your house. It wastes about 90% of its energy as heat. You can touch one and burn your finger. Firefly light, on the other hand, is cold light. They generate virtually no heat. In the sweltering, humid heat of the rainforest, if they wasted energy as heat, they would cook themselves alive. Evolution solved this problem by creating a perfect biochemical engine. But the control doesn't stop at the chemistry. How does a firefly decide to flash, and how does it control the rhythm? This is where neuroscience gets involved. The firefly's brain sends a signal down its nerve cord, releasing a neurotransmitter called octopamine. This chemical tells the cells in the lantern to open gates to oxygen. Think of it like a dimmer switch. The firefly can pulse the oxygen, turning the light on and off in specific patterns. This is why different species have different flash patterns. Some flash like a strobe, some glow steadily like a tiny lantern, and some, like the Photonospiralis, flash in a distinctive J shape as they fly upward. In fact, the males of some species flash on average every 5 seconds if the temperature is 77 degrees Fahrenheit. The females sit on the ground, watching the sky like an air traffic controller, waiting for a male of their exact species to flash the correct password. When he does, she waits a very precise amount of time, sometimes exactly 2 seconds, and flashes back. It is a conversation. It is a love song made of light. And this language is incredibly diverse. There are about 2,000 species of fireflies in the world, all inhabiting warm and wet environments. In the Western Ghats of India alone, a recent survey in the Animale Tiger Reserve identified 8 distinct species, including absconded perplex and Pyrocoelia sp, each with its own ecological fingerprint and preferred microhabitat. They glow to send signals representing courtship, warning, and communication. Some larvae even use their glow to lure prey, acting as tiny, deceptive hunters in the leaf litter. It is a system of light so complex and so beautiful that it seems almost too magical to be science. But this intricate communication network is fragile. It depends entirely on one thing: absolute darkness. This is where the story takes a dark turn. We've established that the firefly's love language is light. They use specific flash patterns in the darkness to find their soulmates. But what happens when the theater lights are accidentally turned on in the middle of the performance? What happens when the sky isn't dark anymore? We are currently living through a crisis that entomologists are calling the silent disco effect. Light pollution, the glow of our street lights, our porch lights, our car headlights, and even the massive glow of our cities is destroying the firefly's ability to reproduce. To a firefly, a bright LED streetlight isn't just an annoyance, it's a love killer. When the background illumination is too high, the male's flashes become invisible. They are forced to expend unprecedented energy trying to outshine the disturbance. And even then, the females on the ground simply can't see them. It's like trying to have a candlelit dinner in the middle of a stadium concert. You just can't connect. But it gets even more sinister. A study in India highlighted a quiet threat. Light from destination weddings and festivities is now spilling into forests and tiger reserves. The loud music and bright lights from human celebration are leaking into the homes of these ancient insects. Scientists have tested this by creating phototactic movement devices, essentially mazes where one arm is dark and the others are lit with different colors. Consistently, fireflies chose the darkened arm, demonstrating their strong, non-negotiable preference for darkness. They are literally running away from our lights, and the consequences are dire. We are seeing population crashes. In regions like Telangana in India, fireflies, locally known as vil or pool or flowers of light, are disappearing from areas where they once transformed trees into glowing gardens. The situation is so critical that headlines have asked, are we truly the last generation to witness fireflies? While experts assure us they aren't extinct yet, their numbers fluctuate wildly with environmental conditions. In 2022, after abundant rainfall, the displays were spectacular. But in 2023 and 2024, numbers plummeted. This fragility makes them bioindicators. Their presence or absence tells us immediately about the health of an ecosystem. If their larvae live in your soil, it means your soil is clean and moist. If they disappear, it means something is wrong, usually pollution or habitat loss. We are so busy lighting up our world that we are literally blinding an entire branch of the animal kingdom. We are disrupting a 300-million-year-old lineage. Fireflies have survived ice ages and asteroid impacts, but can they survive our obsession with 24/7 illumination? This isn't just about seeing bugs, it's about the collapse of a food web. Firefly larvae are important predators of snails and slugs. Adults are food for frogs, bats, and birds. When we lose the fireflies, we don't just lose the magic, we destabilize the entire rainforest floor. But even in the pristine darkness, away from human light pollution, life is not easy for a firefly. The rainforest night is a dangerous place, and their beautiful glow is a double-edged sword. While it attracts mates, it also attracts predators. And in this hostile forest, some of the most terrifying predators are their own cousins. Welcome to the world of aggressive mimicry. We have a predator firefly, usually from the genus Fireflies. These are the wolves in sheep's clothing, or in this case, the wolves in glowing clothing. The female Fireflies is a femme fatale. She watches the flashes of other firefly species, usually the Photinus genus. She learns their flash patterns. When a male Photinus flies by, flashing his hopeful love song, this predator doesn't run away. She answers him. She mimics the flash response of a Photinus female. The male, thinking he has found a mate, flies down in a romantic frenzy, only to be grabbed and eaten. She uses his own language of light to lure him to his death. It is deception at its finest. A cold-blooded murder lit by a false promise of love. This is the summer night killings, as described by naturalists. The rainforest floor isn't just a romantic dance floor, it is a war zone. But it's not just other fireflies. The larvae of fireflies, called glowworms, also have to watch their backs. They live in the soil and leaf litter, glowing softly. This glow can warn predators that they are toxic, a phenomenon called aposematism. Fireflies contain chemicals called which are distasteful and can make predators sick. The glow essentially says, I taste terrible, don't eat me. But again, evolution finds a way. Some predators, like certain species of frogs, have learned to eat so many fireflies that they become immune to the toxins, and their own skin starts to glow after the meal, turning them into glowing predators themselves. Furthermore, the rainforest hosts headlight beetle larvae that also produce light. The entire ecosystem is intertwined with this bioluminescence. It dictates who eats and who is eaten. The fungus gnats in the Amazon even use their glow to create sticky, glowing webs to trap prey. So when you look at that twinkling tree, understand that you are looking at a complex web of communication, deception, and survival. Every flash is a gamble. For the male, it's a gamble to find a female. For the female, it's a gamble to find a male without becoming lunch. And for the predators, it's a gamble to mimic the light just right to get their next meal. It's a high-stakes poker game played with photons in the pitch-black jungle, and it has been going on for millennia, keeping the population in a delicate balance. So, we've walked through the magic, we've understood the chemistry, and we've stared into the dark abyss of light pollution and predation. It's easy to feel hopeless. It's easy to think, the world is going to hell, why bother? But here's the good news, the solution is surprisingly simple. Saving the fireflies doesn't require billion-dollar technology or global treaties. It requires us to be a little more thoughtful. It requires us to embrace the dark. The prescription for protecting these living lights is something we can all start doing tonight. First, and most importantly, turn off your lights. I'm serious. If you have a porch light that stays on all night, turn it off. If you have landscape lighting pointing at your trees, point it down or turn it off. If you live near a green space, a forest or a park, you are on the front lines of this battle. Scientists recommend using lights with a color temperature of 2700 Kelvin or less. These are warmer, amber-colored lights. The cool, blue-white LED lights are the worst offenders because their spectrum travels farther and disrupts the firefly signals the most. If you must have light, shield it. Direct it downward so it lights your path, not the sky. As one expert put it, we humans, newcomers to the planet at just 300,000 years old, can make space for these ancient insects who've been around for over 300 million years. We can share the night. Secondly, stop using pesticides. Firefly larvae live in the soil and eat pests like slugs and snails. If you spray your garden with chemicals, you are poisoning their food and their home. Let your yard get a little messy. Leave the leaf litter. Rotting logs are 5-star hotels for firefly larvae. If you have a water feature or a wetland on your property, protect it. Fireflies thrive in moist environments. By creating a sanctuary in your own backyard, you are creating a safe haven. You are building an ark. And thirdly, become a citizen scientist. There are organizations like the Firefly Asian Association and international conservation groups working to document firefly populations you can help. Go out on a summer night, observe where you see flashes, and log your data. We need to know where they are thriving and where they are disappearing to protect them effectively. The fact that we are still finding new species and documenting huge synchronous displays in places like the Animali Tiger Reserve proves that if we give nature a chance, it will bounce back. The forest wants to glow. It wants to pulse with life. It is waiting for us to just turn off the lights and let it do its thing. Narrate. The rainforest tonight is one of the last truly wild places on Earth. It is a realm of mystery, danger, and breathtaking beauty. And that beauty, the glow of a million fireflies, depends entirely on darkness. It depends on us. If this video touched you, if it made you realize that saving the world isn't just about the big things, but also about protecting the small things that light up the night, then I need you to take action right now. Don't just scroll away. First, go to the comments and type the name of your city or town. Let's see where in the world our viewers are watching from, and let's make a pact to protect the darkness there. Second, share this video. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, post it on your story. Tell them why you're turning off your porch light tonight. We need to make protecting the dark go viral. And finally, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Join me on this journey to uncover the hidden wonders of our natural world, from the deepest oceans to the darkest jungles. The future of the firefly is literally in our hands. Will we be the generation that let the lights go out, or will we be the generation that fought to keep them shining? The choice is yours. Thank you for watching, and good night.